I have two main jobs. One is at Marjon University in Plymouth, where I work on short courses for teachers from all over the world. Um, I also work on a B.Ed for Malaysian teachers of English, where they do a sort of 4-year degree in teaching English as a foreign language. But that's kind of half of my working life. The other half is spent running Horizon Language Training in Totnes in Devon, where we run short courses for teachers from all over, mainly from Europe, and they're 1 week or 2 week courses. And I'm very interested in areas like storytelling in language teaching, drama activities for language learning, that kind of thing. I'm also very interested in dogma, which is where I think, first met Dennis on the dogma discussion group. At Liverpool, at the pre-conference event, I'm very interested at the moment in the whole area of spontaneity, and how that links in with language learning. I've written 2 course books for not course books, sorry, methodology books for language teachers, and they're both kind of about the opposite of spontaneity. One is about the use of dialogue in language teaching, and the other one is about memory activities. And I'm kind of I'm sort of rebelling against that in a way, I suppose, recently, because I'm getting very interested in all the things that can happen spontaneously in the class, and how learning can tie in with spontaneity. So my session at Liverpool is going to be called Improvisation, Out of Control Practice Activities. And I suppose, for a long time there's been the idea of having controlled practice in language teaching, and that's a kind of significant part of a PPP methodology. That the idea that you have a stage in a lesson where you practice a particular area of language over and over again, repeated practice of that area of language in a very controlled way, so that you practice the form of it and you use it in a way where it's getting lots and lots of use. And I suppose that might be a useful thing to do in a language class, but I think it's also useful to be out of control, in a sense, to use all of the language that you have available to you, and also to be challenged. In Denmark, I went to drama school, and I was, I think that was a very, very useful thing to do in terms of language learning, both having to learn the lines of plays, having to learn the lines of plays in Danish. That was a powerful thing to do, but also improvising and having to be thrown into situations where I had to try and deal with the unexpected. And often in language classes, we don't prepare students for dealing with the unexpected. We prepare them in a sense, we kind of prepare them too much. We have a focus on an area of language, and we practice it, sometimes to death. And but in the real world, we don't really know what people are going to say to us. We don't know. There's lots of lots of unexpected events that happen. So, as I said, I think that's a very, very useful thing, to just be able to deal spontaneously with what is thrown at you. So that's the kind of thing I'm going to be looking at. My talk at YLTSIG is billed as an interactive talk. It's going to be very practical, actually. It's going to be doing activities and then reflecting on them. But I'm also I'm kind of, one thing about drama is that sometimes it's seen as being something that you can do with small groups of very motivated learners in in sort of Western Europe classrooms where everything is where there are lots of resources, etc. But I'm interested in it in a way as something that we can do in every classroom, not just something that's for high level learners or for those people who are interested in drama. I think that drama is something we can do with everyone, really, and to have it, to build in something spontaneous into our general classroom routines, even in large classes. I've recently been doing some work in Pakistan with teachers that work in very large classes with very limited resources. But I think it's still in those contexts, drama is a very useful tool.